And good morning, good people. This is your PooleProof Wisdom Moment for yet another Friday. Boy, the travails of being a good person, of doing everything that you can within your power to ensure that as you are looking at what others are doing, that you're not judging it, but trying to understand it. Yeah, it gets really tiring. It gets really exhausting, particularly when there's an uptick in behavior where people come out and show the very worst of who they are. It's been an interesting week, to say the least, because that's my ongoing battle on a daily basis, is to try to be a good person, to try to be open-minded and fair, to embrace what I don't understand, and to understand why I wouldn't embrace certain things. These types of efforts are not ones that anyone need to feel saddened by because I have a struggle with it. It's not something that you need to say, oh, poor Charles, because he's trying to be such a good person, it's hard for him. That's not what this is about. But anyone who's out there who knows what I'm talking about, you know it gets old really, really fast, particularly when you see people doing so many things that they don't have to do. And one of those things about being a good person is that you get to this point where people think that because that is what you're attempting, what your goal is, that you're always walking around with your hands clasped in a prayer, trying to be as nice and as kind to everybody, which in their minds means that you are silent, that they can say, do, act any way they want to, and you're going to say, no problem, bless you, my child. But the fact is that no matter how much we may want to believe it, no matter how much we may want to believe it, there are instances where we all realize that the thing about being nice is that that is what we aspire to be until it's time not to be nice. And there are always those moments, because sometimes, just sometimes, you need to remind people that they are not going to get away with all of the shenanigans that they choose to get away with. They're not going to say things about you. They're not going to do things to you. They're not going to get away with being obtuse, with being negative, with being any number of adjectives that I could throw out in front of you right now that describes their behavior, which ultimately means that they are not being good to you, and that you, supposedly as a nice person, are just supposed to nod and accept it all without any issue whatsoever. That's ridiculous. If you're one of those people who believes that butter doesn't melt in your mouth, the fact is we see you. I see you. And we are not letting you get away with it any longer. That's something you need to be prepared for, because it's a major shift going from the perspective of being nice means being stupid, being a doormat, to being nice means you have a limit to how many niceties you get from me. And once you've reached your limit, what comes after that? That's all on you. It's not on me. It's all on you. You know, the fact is, some people get others to buy into that thinking by saying, you don't want to be one of those people who holds a grudge. It's just not right to hold a grudge. Well, I really don't hold grudges. In fact, I see it not as holding a grudge, but what I see these things as being when I do engage in them, and let's not get it twisted. I do have people that I really don't have any indication that I need to have interaction with on a daily basis, and that's okay. In fact, instead of you jumping to the conclusion that I hate them or I dislike them, the typical reaction I have is I don't think of them at all. But that's always something that has happened because of something that has happened. And instead of a grudge, it becomes more of, I see you for exactly who you are. And now that I have, I'm not going to ever, ever unsee it. And to let that inform your approach to them, let it inform how you interact with them, if at all. Let it inform whether or not you're going to allow it to have an influence and impact on your life for the remainder of your days. And I choose not to. Once you decide that you don't need to be what everyone thinks you need to be, once you decide that you are willing to be fully authentic, even when you're wrong, but if you're an adult, make amends for it when you have done wrong, in my book, that makes you ultimately and perfectly imperfect human, which to my knowledge, all of us are. I don't know a perfect human being who inhabits this planet, who walks this earth, and neither do you. And that's because we are all in progress. That work in progress that we also love to claim that we're being, that's true. But the question is, are you doing the real work, or are you only saying that you are? Real work means making mistakes. Real work means some successes. Real work means learning from all things that you engage with, that you encounter. People, circumstances, events, it doesn't matter. Are you becoming better for the experiences that you're having, or are you simply floating blithely through the day, accepting what is and what isn't as a matter of circumstance and not as a matter of responsibility? Because this life, how I live it, how you live yours, that's up to you. How you choose to be who you are or who you choose to become is entirely up to what you do. Don't blame anybody else for it. Don't assign any responsibility for what is going on in your life to other people. Be accountable, and always remember that it's possible to be a good human being, a nice human being, but that doesn't mean that you're needing to be a doormat, that you're needing to allow yourself to be walked all over, or that even in some instances, although it's nice to be liked, sometimes you're going to have to let go of some people choosing to like you because you are being true to liking yourself, lumps and all, no matter what. And that's your Poolproof Wisdom Moment for this Friday. Up on this weekend, and we're into April now, people. Good grief, where did the first 3 months of the year go? As you head into this weekend, the first weekend in April, consistently think about who you want to become, who you are evolving into. I don't care if you believe in the theory of evolution. Believe in the theory of your personal evolution and look back and see who you've been. Look now and see who you are, and then look forward and imagine who you can yet be. Find my books on online booksellers everywhere, including Audible in audio format. The latest book, I Am My Own Cause, the third act, Surviving and Thriving. You can also find my podcast, PooleProof Wisdom, on podcast platforms everywhere. And of course, you'll find this segment, PooleProof Wisdom Moments, on YouTube. My YouTube channel is Charles K. Poole. Have a great weekend, everybody. Take care.